Hey there, I'm Charlie Jewett from the Renovating Retirement Podcast. And what I want to do in this video is just quickly cover some Roth conversion ideas. And now, what is a Roth conversion? A Roth conversion is when you have an IRA account or some sort of a pre-tax qualified plan, like a 457, 401k, IRA, those type of accounts, sometimes pensions. And you're going to be paying taxes every time you take a distribution. If you retire at 62 and you live till 100, you're going to, pay taxes for 38 years. And so one of the options that the IRS gives us is to convert those yet to be taxed accounts to after tax accounts, something where no taxes are due at all on any distributions when you take money out. Also, with IRAs and pre-tax accounts, when you pass away and leave them as an inheritance, according to current law, the people that receive it have to spend it over a 10-year period, which could really increase their taxable income if they're already making good money and they have to spend, if you leave a big IRA for $3 million and they have an extra $300,000 of income for 10 years, it might be taxed at the highest rates possible. We can't really stretch it anymore. So converting to Roth can be a very beneficial move for you as far as paying less taxes during your retirement years when you're taking income. It also can be a way of protecting the heirs from having to pay a lot of taxes on their inheritance. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I've been asking this question since I learned tax-free retirement planning in 2005. I'm recording this in 2000, well, almost 2025 right now. It's the end of 2024. But I've been teaching this now for 20 years and asking the very simple question, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, do you think taxes are going to go up or down in the future? And to this date, 100% of the people have said, I think they're going to go up. And I ask, why? And they say, well, the government spends too much money. We can't afford Medicare or Social Security. They're talking about lowering Social Security by 30%. We've had wars. We had COVID. There was the bailout of the banks in 2008 and 9. There's anybody who's paying attention and listening to the news knows the country's deeply, deeply, deeply in debt, spends too much money, and talks about it, says, hey, we're kind of in trouble. Well, what's the only way for countries to raise revenue to get themselves out of debt or to pay their bills? It's taxes. That is the job of the IRS, is to raise revenue to pay for the country's bills. So we're also at a very, very, very low marginal tax rate right now. Tax rates, they always feel like they're too high. Everybody, especially if you make great money, everybody feels like they pay too much in taxes. But historically, marginal tax rates are very, very low right now. And so everyone kind of expects that taxes are probably going to go up. The other thing to consider is income generally goes up, every year, every 2 years, as long as you're working. And for many people in your 50s and 60s, you're at the highest income you're ever going to have. Those are the years where you're really just an expert at your career. So you probably are going to retire in a higher tax bracket than when you started your career at 18, 20 years old, 22 years old. When you retire at 62, 65, you're probably kicking butt. You're probably making a lot of money. And you're going to be in a higher tax bracket for that reason. And so if in those higher tax brackets, they raise the tax rates, you could be paying a ton of tax in retirement. So for those of you who believe tax rates may go up, a Roth conversion may be a very important, intelligent, wise move to make, especially if we can do it at no cost or very low cost, which is what this presentation is about. No cost or low cost Roth conversion ideas. I was asked to prepare a presentation. I was already working on this for one of my clients and decided to just dive deep into it and make this my presentation. I created a chart, which I'll show you later. I used to do taxes in my office when I lived in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 21 years. And I had an office where we were doing tax preparation. I didn't do it myself. I had my license, but I had employees doing the tax returns, and I would do the retirement planning and the tax-free retirement planning, income plans and things like that. But I went back to the tax preparation software and basically just went inside of it and said, okay, if you're making 50,000 a year and you convert 100,000 to Roth, what are your taxes? What if you convert 150,000 IRA to Roth? What if you convert 200,000 IRA to Roth? Okay, what if you're making 100,000 a year taxable and you convert 50 or 100 or 100? I went basically made a grid, which I'll show you later, to show the exact tax rate or the taxes that you'd pay at multiple different income rates, converting multiple different sizes of IRAs, and it was very, very informative. Now, hedgehog and bonus annuities, the bonuses paid when you transfer money to annuities and a new investment company, well, they're 20 years old, but I found out about them about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Hedgehog investments and bonus rates on annuities have literally changed everything in my world as far as Roth conversions, because the higher rate of return that you can earn on your investments, the higher compound rate of return that you can earn on your investments, the more important it is that they be Roth IRAs and not yet to be taxed IRAs or 401ks or 457s. Because if you take a yet to be taxed account and compound it at really high interest rates, you just compound the problem. You compound the tax liability. Now the IRS is going to take a third of your $10 million account, not a third of your $500,000 account. So the more interest you earn, the more important it is that that high interest is earned inside of Roth IRAs or after tax accounts where you get to keep all of that money as it turns into this huge account. The other thing is bonus rates. If there's companies giving you money to transfer to them, and we can use those bonuses to pay taxes to convert to Roth, that's a win-win. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to go over the results of everything that I learned in this preparation and show you the 4 or 5 different ways that I found to pay tax to do Roth conversions with no tax or very low tax. But one thing to keep in mind, one of the ideas I'm going to show you, maybe more than one, you put in a chunk of money, you wait 2 years, and you take out your earnings plus your bonus, and 2 years later, you have the exact same account. Let's say you put in $250,000, you wait 2 years, you take out the bonus plus your earnings, and you pay the IRS to go away. You pay taxes to do a Roth conversion, and your account is still only worth $250,000. But now it's a Roth IRA. Now it's after tax. You'll never pay taxes on any income. Your people that inherit the money will never pay taxes. You say, "Oh my gosh, but Charlie, you say it's no cost, but I lost 2 years of compound interest. I had 250 and now I only have 250. I don't have any growth." Where else can that happen is the most important question. Where else could an account not go up over 2 years? Or where else could an account go down over 2 years? I'm going to show you another strategy, paying the taxes from inside the IRA where your account goes down initially. Where else could that happen? Only the most common, most popular place for Americans to keep their money, which is called the stock market. I've done over 2,200 retirement plans, and I'm in my 20th year. I've seen tens of thousands of families, looked at their current financial situation and showed them what else they could do. Almost every single person I've ever met in 20 years has the majority of their money in the market, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, where they're gambling. They literally do not know what is going to happen. We had a 10-year period from 2000 to 2010 where the market didn't go up at all, called the lost decade. Changed everything in the world of finance, including the 4% rule, including how much money you can take out and live, how much income you can take from your portfolio and live in retirement. Went from 4% down to 2.8 or 2.9 because of the lost decade. So please just keep in mind, if you on purpose put in $250,000 and 2 years later you only have $250,000, but now it's 100% tax free, that is a benefit, and it could have been worse somewhere else. Okay, what we don't want when compounding money in IRAs, 401ks, 457s, pension accounts, things like that, what we do not want with yet to be taxed or pre-taxed money is to grow it and compound it like crazy. We don't want that, because now you have to give a third, 28%, 45%, I don't know, wherever tax rates go, you have to give that portion to the IRS instead of to you. So bonus annuities make about 7. Hedgehog pays 12%, no matter who you are. Minimum investment They pay 12%. Their highest payment is 20%. Last year, Hedgehog paid an average of 19% to all their investors. So Hedgehog makes a big difference in the Roth conversion world, in how much income you can take during retirement. So income planning, how fast you can retire. You probably retire 5 years faster if you're using Hedgehog than just the stock market. But we don't want to take a $250,000 account and turn it into $555,000, $776,000, $1.5 million and have it yet to be taxed. We don't want that. Your high interest money should be inside of Roth IRAs. Your low interest money that you're living off of for the first 5 years of retirement or whatever, that could be in IRAs. That's fine. So income versus converted amount grid. This is the grid that I created. I'll probably go to it in a minute here later on, but let me just show you what I was working on. On the left-hand side, we have income. What if you're making zero, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000? I was inside of the tax preparation software using a fake family and just putting in different incomes and then converting different amounts to Roth in the same year. Because when you convert to Roth, it's basically treated like income. And then just started asking, what's my total tax? How much goes to tax that year by using tax preparation software? I wasn't doing state tax, just the federal. But you can see, 16.9%. I was looking at big conversions, $350,000. Still, you might have to pay $100,000 of taxes or $90,000 of taxes, $74,000 of taxes, but your effective tax rate was only 18%. The highest I could find, converting $500,000 in IRA when you're already making $250,000 a year, was only 20, I think it was 24% or 26% tax rate. David McKnight and all the other experts, what they've been saying is if you could pay 20, 24% tax rate and get rid of the IRS, it's probably the lowest tax bracket you're ever going to be in for the rest of your life. So if we can use interest from Hedgehog, or we can use bonuses from annuities, or we can use loan strategies, which I'm going to show you as well, to lower that 26, 18, 19, whatever, we can lower that to 0 or to 8% or to 12% or even to 20%. That is a win for where most people think taxes are going to go. So strategy number one, using existing Roth accounts to pay for Roth conversions. I just did this for a client, and it's one of my favorite strategies. Pretend you have a current income of $100,000. By the way, every single example I'm going to share today, your income is $100,000, and we're going to change it to $350,000. Your taxable income before the Roth conversion is $100,000. Your taxable income after is $350,000 on purpose. I wanted to keep everything even Steven and make it easy to compare. So we've got somebody making $100,000 of taxable income after all deductions and everything. They're taxed on $100,000. They have a current Roth account worth $50,000. Now, how can that happen? Well, they started investing in a Roth, 7 years ago or whatever it is. If it's more than 5 years old, they're allowed to access it, particularly if they're after 59 and a half. There's no penalties or anything like that. Just assume, for my example, the person is older than 59 and a half, and they have an existing Roth account like my client that I just helped. What can we buy with that old Roth if we use it to pay taxes on converting a current IRA? How big of an IRA can we convert and pay the taxes with the old Roth account, trading a small Roth for a big Roth? New conversions, we have to wait 5 years before using the money. What do I mean by that? If you take a $250,000 IRA and you convert it to Roth IRA today, the taxes are due next April. The taxes are due it's basically income for this year. You could do half of it in December, half in January, spread it out. You could wait till January 1st and you get, however many months that is, 12 plus we get 16 months to pay it. It's all fine. So you do this Roth conversion on $250,000, but you can't take money out of that Roth right away. You can't start living on it, tax-free income. They make you wait 5 years, and that's an important piece of this. Roth accounts, especially if they're earning higher interest, should be for income in the later years of retirement. Now, that makes perfect sense with what we call laddering or income planning. Everybody says live off of your low interest accounts first, let the high interest accounts compound because they're going to grow better and turn into higher amounts and use those later. So this fits very well with traditional financial planning, which is laddering. So we have a new taxable income of $350,000. We'll look at the grid in a minute again, but on that grid, I have someone making $100,000 who converts an IRA to $250,000. It shows their total taxes for that year are going to be $63,000. Now they were already paying, who knows, 10, 20, 30. They're already paying some taxes on the 100 grand, but their total tax that year is now $63,000. How do they pay that? They use the $50,000 Roth account, take a distribution, a full distribution. There's no taxes due. They're over 59 and a half. There's no penalties. They literally close the old account, send it to the IRS, and they just traded a small Roth of $50,000 and now have $250,000, 100% tax free, that's going to begin to compound at 7, 12, 20, as much as we can get. And that's what we want for high income accounts, is that they're compounding tax free. So that's strategy number one. Any existing Roth IRA accounts, we can close them, take the money out, use it to pay taxes, to convert larger, yet to be taxed accounts. Now, strategy number two, using loans and loan interest to pay for Roth conversions. Anybody that's been following me for a while knows my first book was called 2 Ways to be Debt Free. It was all about how incredible borrowing money from your house is, why you never want to pay off your house, how powerful loans are, how the power of arbitrage, borrowing at 6, earning 12, just like the banks do, just like every insurance company does. It's basically doing what the banks and insurance companies do instead of what they tell us to do, which is stick all your money inside of a house and let it sit there and rot for the next 40, 50, 60 years, earning no interest at all. No, very, very rich, wealthy, intelligent people always have debt. Always. They know how to use other people's money and leverage it to earn higher interest than they are paying. That's what wisdom looks like. Can we do the same thing to pay the IRS to go away? Yes. Just 2 examples here. Same taxable income. Almost anyone that has a 401k loan is going to be able to borrow from it. It's the norm. You can borrow up to $50,000 from your 401k and pay low interest and pay yourself back from inside of your paycheck. Very easy. What if we had the same $250,000 IRA account and we want to convert it to Roth? All right. Our loan's going to cost us about $1,000 a month, $990. In total, over 5 years, you will have paid yourself interest of $9,403 back into your 401k account. Well, that's cool. Paying yourself interest is better than paying other people interest. So what happens? We take a loan from the 401k. We do the Roth conversion on the IRA. Now, like I mentioned, if you did this in January, you did the Roth conversion, you may not need to take that 401k loan until next April, until 16 months from now. You can speak to your tax professional about what you need to do, or do you need to make quarterly payment, whatever. You can speak to your tax professional and find out when you should really do it, but there's no reason to take the loan super early if you don't need to and start making payments. You could probably wait. But the general idea, you take a loan, do the Roth conversion, which triggers the taxes, extra $250,000 of income that year is the way it's looked at. We use the loan to pay the taxes and pay yourself back. So you're making $990 a month payments over 5 years. The interest goes to you. Charlie, how do I service that loan? This doesn't sound no cost or low cost to me. It sounds expensive. Yeah, you're investing $1,000 a month. Now, where could that come from? If you're already making contributions to your 401k, which, by the way, is compounding your problem, you're growing this 401k really, really big so that later you have all this huge account with high taxes, you could simply redirect $990 of that to pay back the loan. If you're investing in IRAs outside of your job, you could stop doing that and use that. There's a bunch of different ways you could pay this thing, but maybe you have to pay it out of your pocket. Maybe you're literally just investing $1,000 a month now instead of paying taxes later. Okay, so you put the money in Hedgehog. I don't know if they're going to give you 12% or 20%. They tell you when they You do a little interview with them. They ask how much money you're investing, who you are, your profession, and all that. You see their presentation, then they tell you whether you get 12, 15, 17, 20, whatever you're going to get. Last year, they paid an average of 19. So your chances of getting 19 or more are very, very high. So you put $1,000 a month in for 60 months. That's a $60,000 investment with uh, dollars that are depreciating over 5 years, and grow your money from 250 to 440 or $622,000, 100% tax free. Is that a wise investment to invest $60,000 over a 5 year period to make 190,000 or whatever, what is this? That's 50 plus 322, $372,000. Yes, I think that's a very wise investment. It's better than funding $1,000 a month to mutual funds slowly. So you can use current contributions, something you're paying for, or you can just pay it out of pocket. But to free this up and turn it into 100% tax free, pay a loan with depreciating dollars over 5 years, puts you in a really, really good spot. We can do the same thing with a home equity line of credit, and it's going to be way cheaper because home equity lines of credit or HELOCs generally are interest only. So the payment might only be $250 to $300 a month. And then how do you pay it back? It's not like that 401k loan where it's amortized over 5 years, and over 5 years you've already paid it back. At the end of the 5 years here, you've been servicing the interest for 250 to 300, but you still owe 50,000 to the bank. How do you pay it? Take the money out of the account. After 5 years, you're over 59 and a half, you can take money out of the new Roth IRA that we created in the first year. Now, what's the plan here? Take a loan, do the Roth conversion, use the loan to pay the taxes, pay the IRS to go away, wait 5 years, service the loan, wait 5 years and pay it back. Here, you could simply take a $50,000 distribution out of the 622 or a $50,000 distribution out of the 440. You pay off the home equity line of credit and you're done, and you have a Roth IRA for the rest of your life. What is strategy number 3? Bonuses on annuities. I'm a fan of annuities. Why am I a fan of annuities? I'm not a fan of everything. I have multiple podcast episodes and videos on YouTube about this. Annuity is not a bad word. It means contract. Would I buy an annuity from one of the brand name car insurance companies? Like if you watch TV and you see the car insurance companies that are advertising, low, whatever, they're advertising to insure your car. Yeah, they sell annuities too. Would I ever buy one from them? 100% no. Annuity means contract. It can't be a good word or a bad word. It means contract. It would literally be like saying real estate is bad. Well, which property, which piece of land are you talking about is good or bad? How much did it cost to buy? Buying in downtown Manhattan for $1, that's great. You can't say annuities are good or bad. What do I like? Which annuities do I like? I like indexed annuities with very, very high participation rates. What does that mean? Indexed annuity means when the market goes down, you never lose money. You can never, ever, ever go backwards. If you put $250,000 into it and you wait 10 years and the market went down every year for 10 years, you've preserved your $250,000. Where if you were in the market, you'd probably be down to 50,000, whatever. So I like indexed annuities where they protect you on the downside, but they say when the market goes up, you still get 70, 80% of it, or however it's structured. I like those because they've averaged 6, 7, 8, 9% over the time frames that we measure. And I also like annuities that give you ripping high guaranteed income for life, usually twice, 2 to 3 times as much as you could take from a stock account. Well, some annuities incentivize you to send them the money. It's kind of like a sale, advertising, a bonus. Costco gives away samples of free food, things like that. All kinds of businesses. Timeshare companies give you a free vacation to come listen to their pitch. Annuities give you money. So right now, there's an annuity with a 13% bonus, and this is high. Annuity rates are up. So if we put $250,000 into a bonus annuity that pays 13%, so that day one, you actually have $282,500 now working for you, starting to earn interest, we've already made money. Now, what do? We wait 2 years. Why do I say we wait 2 years? Because most annuities have a 10% free withdrawal period. What does that mean? Every year you could take 10% of the account out and there are no penalties. Insurance companies have to have a penalty for the first 10 years because they pay agents like me a commission. They go backwards. They lose money in the beginning. They have to buy 10-year bonds to make any money. It's a long-term investment on purpose. It's not bad. They just need to have penalties for the first 10 years, 7 to 10 years usually. So you could take $28,000 out of this account after year one and pay taxes on a Roth IRA. That's fine. You could do that. But some annuities say if you wait 2 years and don't take the 10% out in the first year, you can double it. You can take 20% out for free. Now, that doesn't keep going up. You can't wait 3 years and take 30%, 4 years and take 40%. I wish. But if you wait 2 years, we can take 20% out, which means we can basically take out the bonus plus some other money, and there are no penalties at all. What do we do with the distribution? We pay taxes to convert the entire account to Roth. This is what it looks like. Even at the fixed rate. Now, indexed annuities, like I just mentioned, they have a participation rate or some sort of a way to earn interest. You might earn 18%. You might earn 2%. You might earn zero. They also have a fixed rate, kind of like a savings account. It changes every year, but right now, kind of like the banks, they're paying 3.1. So I'm showing the most conservative possible way to use an indexed annuity and just use the fixed account. We give them 250. It's immediately bonused up to the 282,500, plus it earns a guaranteed 3.1 over the next 12 months. That can't change. That's set in stone right now. So we know in 12 months you'll have exactly 293,835. We let it grow again. Now that rate may go up next year. It may go down a little. It usually doesn't change dramatically, but I'm assuming it stays the same. At the end of year two, at the end of 24 months, we have $302,000, and you have the right to take out 20% with no penalties. Now that's a distribution of $60,000. And when we go and convert the rest of the IRA to Roth IRA, that's also income. So in this case, we're actually going to have more $302,000 more income in that year. That's fine. You don't have to worry about that. I'll work with your tax advisor on that. No big deal. But we're going to convert this to Roth IRA and pay the taxes with the distribution. Now, we looked at paying taxes with another Roth account. We looked at paying taxes using loans, 401k loan or a home equity loan or wherever else you could borrow money. We looked at paying taxes using annuity bonuses. You certainly could combine all these strategies. I did that with my last client. Adding income strategies would be a huge help. I mean, my bread and butter, the thing I love to do the most, and most of the 2,200 plans that I've done have been tax-free retirement strategies. Like, what should you do to keep your taxable income low, especially because high income then triggers taxes on your Social Security, which is just offensive. To be receiving money from Social Security and have them take some of it and keep it for taxes is just offensive. So we want to do income planning strategies. Adding that to this would help a ton. But even without that, Roth IRAs are never going to be taxed. One last thought. You can pay taxes on Roth conversions from right inside the IRA. Now, this traditionally has been considered a really bad idea. No, you don't want to do that. You always want to pay taxes from outside of the IRA so that the new Roth, is as big as it possibly can be. Because you're not, like, for instance, if you pay $50,000 of tax and you take it out of the IRA, which then becomes a Roth, you can't make a contribution to Roth IRAs for $50,000. We're limited to much less than that. You can't put it back in. You can't fund it in. It's hard to get money inside of Roths, so we generally don't want to take any losses inside of them, really. But high interest changes everything. Hedgehog investments changes everything, or bonuses, things like that. If Hedgehog's paying 12 to 20%, you can afford to start with less money inside the Roth, and the compound interest is going to make it up for you. If you have an IRA account for $250,000 and the total taxes due are $50,000, okay, how can we pay those? Take a distribution of $50,000, convert the $200,000 account to Roth. That Roth balance of $200,000 will grow to $621,000 in 10 years at the lowest rate you could possibly be offered from Hedgehog. If you, like over 90% of their clients, qualify for the 20%, which you'll find out when you meet with them, this account of $200,000, which lost 50 grand on its first day, we got a divorce. Whenever you get a divorce, your net worth goes down. You have to pay money to your ex-spouse, and your net worth goes down. You lose assets because you're splitting them up. Well, if your spouse got 20% and you got 80%, that's a pretty good split. I like that. Usually it doesn't work that way. It's usually more 50-50. Okay, we paid the IRS to divorce them, 20, 30%, whatever, and then grew 200,000 to a tax-free $1,238,000 in just 10 short years. Most people could retire 5 to 10 years earlier just using Roth IRAs and Hedgehog. So paying from inside the IRA, if there's no other options, still works out if you're using an investment that pays high interest like Hedgehog. All of it is 100% tax-free at that point, which means it cannot possibly trigger taxes due on your Social Security. What is the key to not paying taxes on your Social Security? Have no taxable income. Don't have pension income. Don't have IRA income. But if you already have pensions, we certainly don't want more taxable IRA income. You want everything else to be tax-free. I recently worked with a client, and we were able to take $670,000 of his 457, and in just 3 short years, all of it will be converted to Roth IRA at basically no cost. And I believe the value of his account in 3 years is something like $800,000 or $900,000, something like that, because we're using Hedgehog. So a combination of all of these strategies may be what we need to do, and it may be just what you need to get completely converted in 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows when they're going to raise tax rates? But the faster you can convert and get that money compounding tax-free, the better. If you want to talk to me about this, just email me, charlie@renovatingretirement.com. You can find me on the internet, searching Charlie Jewett or Renovating Retirement. You can find my phone numbers on my website. Ways to contact me, but the easiest way is just email me, charlie@renovatingretirement.com. I hope that was helpful for you. God bless you, and this is to your success. Bye.